Yo, what's up, YouTube? Welcome back, traders. It's your boy, the Forex Bully. We about to get into these charts with my boy, Chaos Trader 63. Let's get it.
So we were expecting, kind of looked like we were expecting the market to get to this level here. I'm going to mark this. Whoops, didn't mean to use that tool. Looking like we could possibly get there, and also this was another level that we would have been looking at also. We kind of violated that level, got a little level here. I think we kind of got past this level also. So the next thing I was looking at was market getting up to this level, but it kind of started looking weak because, as you could see here, delta going down, price still going up. This was showing weakness here. So this was showing that we had institutional traders were more interested in the downside. There wasn't any institutional buyers that were really interested in the move higher. So it was looking like more institutional traders were out of the market here, or pushing to the downside. Now what I'm looking for is quite possibly a bounce and then a move up to this level. So we'll just wait. So do I trade better live or alone? I trade better probably alone, because when you're live, so many things that you try to be perfect, people are watching, and there's some things that you may not do. So maybe I trade better when I'm live, because there's some things that I won't do being live that I know I may do, because I don't want to lose a trade, or you're trying to be perfect or whatever, but you're never going to be perfect. There's no perfect trading. So that's that. But I think I trade better. I probably think I trade better live, maybe, because like I said, I'm more aware and more cautious of what I'm doing. But I try to do the same things all the time anyway. So. And a lot of times it's hard to trade live because you need to be really focused when you're trading, and when you're live talking to people and doing stuff, it kind of takes away some of your attention. And that's why I like to pretty much do this alone. Now the live aspect is just because it does help some people out, so that's a good thing. So here's that bounce we're getting, but the issue, I do see delta coming up to the upside. I'm going to wait to see if we violate this level. My best trade would be at this level, but my issue is we had this big C clamp and we're flat here, so we may range a little bit before breaking to the upside. So we may see this market range a little bit here and then maybe break the upside of Tinkinson, and that's when we'll get long here. All right. Let's see what happens here. And a lot of games get played in this market per candle. Look how far this drops down after it went way up here. This is just institutional traders doing this to retail traders and getting you into the trade and then taking you out, and now the market goes back the other way. Like a lot of times this market will push right back up to this level near the close of this candle. That's why I wait for the close, because the last little bit of time here is the most important. Okay, so we didn't push all the way back up, but you can see where we are. So we're flat with Tinkinson, Keesinson. So I'm gonna just wait. I think we're gonna probably range here a little bit. I'm still bullish. My delta here, cumulative volume, is still showing like most of the bars are green, and then we have corrections, correction, correction. But this is the longer time of green bars here, and then we got correction. So more than likely, possibly going to see this market move to the upside. But we'll see. And then we could catch this break here. If we get that break, then we're going to shoot for this level right here. And actually, in reality, we got to shoot for this 2 level. Because once we get here, and if we break here, we do have to break this high before we can shoot for anything else. So that would be our immediate target before we think about there. And if we violate this level, we're shooting all the way back up to here. I just move from level to level when trading the market. All right, so I'm not going to be fooled by this right yet. Tinkinson is aiming to the downside though. So starting to look a little bit bearish here. I'm not sure. We still didn't close really below Keesinson. We did a little bit right here, but that's nothing major. So we'll just wait. Really slow. Now it looks like we are closing below. But I'm still not bearish yet. We didn't get a crossover here, so I stay with the direction of the crossover. So we got a bullish crossover, TK crossover right here. I'm waiting for a bearish TK crossover here, so I still will take a trade if the market moves higher and violates Tinkinson. So currently we are still with the bullish market. right, so we're getting a nice, kind of like a bullish engulfing, but again, got to wait till that close. But I don't like what's happening here. Tenkan-sen and Kijun-sen are coming close together, so the only thing that we could see a couple things here. So if they get close and then we get the momentum to move to the upside, then you'll see tight angulation to the upside, and then a possible trade at that point, or else we'll just see the market, we'll get a crossover, and it'll be a bearish crossover at that point. And then we'll, usually on a bearish, if once we change direction, I'm going to just wait for the correction, and then we could start trading the direction. I don't ever trade that first directional move until I get the correction. Like, I won't trade this breakout or a breakout if it's a breakout of Kijun-sen or anything. See if we can look at a spot like here. This was a crossover here. We break out, and I don't trade any of this. I don't get interested till we get this correction here, and then this is where we trade. All right, and this is, but since there was news this morning, we wouldn't have traded this. We weren't going to trade that. All right, and then the market drops to the downside. But that's where you get interested in the short trade. You leave all this go. All right, and then the bull market, when it breaks, you got a crossover that's bullish. You get interested on this correction here, you could get interested there, and then you get another correction here. Then it kind of gets flat a little bit. All right, but this is where you get interested in the market after that correction. You don't get interested here because it's extended here. You're late to the party, so you really want to see it correct and then get into the move, because this is where your best area of the trade is, and even better if it pulls back to Kijun-sen level here. All right. So I don't know what we got going on here yet. Like I said, I think we would I thought we would be flat a little bit. I thought we would be flatter. We wouldn't even have got this drop, but we are kind of flat still. But I thought we'd stay inside this candle because we were flat with Tenkan-sen, Kijun-sen. But the angulation on Tenkan-sen was something that was telling. And then crossover trades, I don't ever trade those unless, like, you'll catch me trade a few of them when I'm day trading if the market is really close to the crossover. Like, let me show you what I'm talking about. So this is a crossover here, bullish crossover, but I wouldn't get interested in the trade because the market's too far away at where the crossover occurred. So where the crossover occurs, I want it to be right there. Like, this would be right at the crossover. So I would take this trade. And if, like, this crossover occurred and the market was right here in this area, I would take that short trade. But other than that, I wouldn't do it. Like, now this is a really good crossover area to take the trade short. I'm just not taking it. But if I take a crossover trade, it has to be like this. Now this crossed over and we're right at this area. So what I would really look for is just maybe put a short at this level. Right here at about 132.60. Put my stop loss a little bit above this level here. All right, and then just watch the market. A lot of rejections right here of this upper level. So this crossover could have been a good opportunity. I see a lot of stuff after the fact too. But I see it during the fact also, just from a lot of trading. So our cumulative delta is moving to the upside. The market's pushing to the downside a little bit. So I won't go long while I have negative delta, and I won't go short while I have positive delta. Now, there is cases where I would. It would be if I was at a support and resistance level. Let's say, let's just use this level. Let's just move this up here. Let's say we had this, the market pushes up, and I have strong divergence. Like this is a divergence right here, as we see, but if this was a support and resistance level, and we had that divergence and we had price action, then I would think about taking a short at that point. But as the market comes up and makes a double top, if I have even more divergence, I'll also take that trade. Now also what I look for with this cumulative volume delta right here, if the market can't violate this zero level on a push higher at resistance, then I kind of know what may happen, what might happen. And that crossover trade would have been decent. It would have been going our way. But not anything major at this point. So now you could see cumulative volume is moving higher. A lot of times we'll get that correction, come up to a level, and if it doesn't violate, like I said, then you'll see the market move to the downside, or if it's like this, continue to the upside. Try to show you a good spot. Not a real good correction here, but nothing to show you there. Like, show you a better area if I could. See, like this right here, like this level is flat at this zero level. The market never went below the zero level when it pushed back to this area here, in this little area here. So you had a nice little correction here. So you were bullish, you had your crossover was bullish, you moved higher, then you corrected down towards Keatington, actually to this fractal level right here. We landed right on that fractal level, pushed back to that fractal level, but we never went below zero. So we stayed strong even though we were correcting, and then the market pushed higher. That's something you want to look for with your trades. All right, now a lot of times it will go below, but then when it comes back above, that's when you get into your trade, or whatever, vice versa. All right, kind of pushing up into our TK zone here, right up in our TK zone. This is what we wanted to see, like when you break, then you get a correction. Actually, this is kind of maybe the second correction, but this could be considered, since we broke here. We broke here and then we kind of corrected already before the crossover. Then the market moves higher. Then we look for the break back below below Tinkinson. And that's where we get into our trade. So most of the time we want to catch our trade and try to run it all the way till it comes back below Tinkinson if we're long. So if we catch a trade here, we try to run that thing till it comes all the way back to Tinkinson. Now a lot of times it's hard for me to do because the market pulls back so deep sometimes. We actually have our entry here. This should be our short trade right here. I'm not going to take this short. Let me show you a couple of reasons why. Number one, we definitely should be short here because we did break Tinkinson, but we're flat with Tinkinson and Kijinson. And then also we mark this level here. We're pretty flat right here, so it's like we're pushing into this support level. So I'm kind of worried about taking a trade here. So I'm not going to take this trade, but this is definitely one of our entries. Sometimes I overanalyze the market and miss trades, but sometimes it keeps me out of very good trades. Sometimes it keeps me out of very bad trades. So, but you don't want to do too much analyzing the market and overthink it, but you want to just trade your plan. But I just don't like trading into this level. It looks like it's having a tougher time getting through there at this moment. So we would have been sitting in a flat trade. I like to see some angulation, the direction that we're going. So basically, if the direction you're going is what you want to see the Tinkinson at least Tinkinson pointing into. All right, the direction you're going, and it's still flat here, so the market's staying flat. And then another thing that I really failed to show you guys at this moment, we did break above, and then this would be our entry like we said. Now we did push lower than this low here. So let me just show you again. So here's where we pushed higher, and then this little correction. Then we got positive delta, but then the negative delta was right on this candle here. That's where we enter the market based off of negative delta. So now we're going to look for another entry. Oops. Let's mark this fractal level. All right, so that was the correction actually that we always look for. We got that first correction. This is where we could have been into trading. That's where we should have been trading. That's where I didn't trade my plan. I basically trade my plan, but I didn't take an entry. Like if I was a robot or automatic, that would have been an entry for me. All right, but the human psychology and the human part of trading interfered with me taking a trade right here because of this level right here. And we may not get another opportunity in a little bit. So we might not get another shot in a little while. Sometimes this market just goes on you. like this. Never really came back inside your TK zone. Kind of hard to get into these trades here for me, the way that I trade. So really this whole move is hard for me to catch. My delta never dropped, lower than, I like to see that drop below 0 and then push back above 0 to enter a long trade. I like to see the break above 0 right here like we did, and then the drop below, take that trade. So on a correction, I want to see the market push higher. I want to see this delta move up to the 0 level. All right, and then I want to see the delta push over the 0 level. And then when that delta comes back below the 0 level, I will short the market. That's what we had right here. And that's where I failed to take the trade. And now the market looks like it's trying to flatten out again. It's getting a little late. Not late, but near lunch almost. We got a little while, but now here's a good push up to this level. Now we are pushing back up to this fractal zone and Tinkinson, but we got a little bit of a gap here and we're flat. See what we get here. Now watch this. I'm going to explain if we do it here. Let's see if it happens. Let's see if we don't break the 0 level. And if we get a bearish candle and we don't break the 0 level off after hitting Tinkinson or this level here, then we kind of know that the market is probably going to drop to the downside. Now if we break, then we want to see the market give us another bearish, we want to see bearish delta. Don't ever get too excited about these candles. The market plays games within these candles. That's why you need to wait for these candles to close. There's games all in through this area. This is why you see so much movement in here. Just like we showed with one of these candles, this one here. All the way up here and then close all the way down here. Just trying to get you caught in the game right here for the long trade, and then the market's bearish. You're stuck. And if you're not really looking at levels also, you have issues too, because you won't even know levels that you're pushing into. Now see how the game was? Looked like this was going to be a bearish candle. See this all the time. So don't try to jump the market. Wait for it to really tell you. I've done it here and there a couple times, and I really learned this more now, day trading more often now, to just really wait on these candles to close, because I see so much games being played between the middle of the candle till the close of the candle. So we're above, so we're waiting to see delta push below and close below. So here's our entry again, getting an opportunity if we close below Tinkinson to take that short. Now remember, we're flat again. We were flat up here, but we're going to trade what we see. There's no levels that are below us that we're saying, oh, this could stop us. There was this flat level here that could stop us, so that was okay. But there's no level here if we get a short opportunity. Now again, wait for these candles to close, and you could see my delta. Look what's going on. Now it looks like it's going to close below. So I feel like I'm missing out right here because I'm getting farther away from my level. That's what's driving me crazy. But I want to be as close to this level as I can. But I'm also not really far from my Tinkinson level. So that's not bad. We're going to close below this level. We're going to take the trade. Just don't like that long, big push. I really wait for these candles now because that's why I have the warning on to let me know when and what's happening with the candles at the last 100 ticks. 2,000 tick chart I'm trading. Looks like we got bearish delta. Let's make sure. Okay, this is our setup here. And our trigger, if we're red below 0 and if we close below Tinkinson. There it is.
Order filled.
Move this up. Move this down. I move this up to the previous high, and I like to be slightly above that level. We're going to go 1-to-1. Put the 1-to-1 target on here. We just mark it. That's where we'll put our target. And I like to see if we could break that level before I take the profit. So I'm not going to exactly take profit at this level. If we could get there, we need to get through this level first. But this is our level right here. So we're going to mark that. Actually, we could keep this on here because we can see what's going on. Okay, and remember, we're kind of flat here, so hopefully we get this momentum. We do need to get through this level, this area here. All right, so what we're looking at is 1, 2, 3, 4. So we play the market in N waves, right? So the waves are going to be basically, you're looking at leg 1, 2, and then we're shooting for this level, which would make this an N wave. A, B, C, D, or else 1, 2, 3, and shooting for 4. All right, that's what you're doing. That's what we're doing. This area is very important. I don't want to see a big retracement right here. All right, we're at 315. Now guys, sometimes it is hard. Like, I really don't like to see this market cut half of my profit. So we're just gonna now bring this to break even, a little bit past break even. We don't ever want to just be break even. But we're shooting for this level. But if we get too much of a retracement, we'll just take our profit. So it looks like we're okay at this point. We're at 5,600. And a lot of times, like, I like to just move my stop loss down to the previous high. There we are. We hit this level. Let's see if we can violate. We hit 700. We're pushing up too hard. Let me close that
Order
trade.
filled.
Closed out 570. Was I too quick to close out? Let's see. All right. So doesn't look like I was too quick. We got a rejection off of that level, right off of the level, the end level. All right, so let's set this up again. We're continuing to the downside. First, we're going to look at this fractal level, see what the market does at this fractal level. We'll watch my entries here. We're getting some distance here. I like to see the market push higher because I don't want to be too far away with Jenkins and Keatonson when I get into the trade. So I really want to see the market push up higher. So I'm looking just basically for really like my fractal bounces and then my Tinkinson breaks, and that's it. So I'm looking for breaks outside of my TK zone. Now my best trade would be to be up in the TK zone and short this market from this level, if that were the case with a bearish crossover. That's a big distance there, so I don't see that happening. But so then my trade would be to close outside Tinkinson to the downside. That's short-term momentum, and we're trading a short time frame, and that shows you my short-term momentum. Every time you break Tinkinson, as you can see, there's an entry there that we didn't take. That was a good trade, would have been a good trade. There's an entry here that we did take, and now we're going to see if we could get another entry or bounce off of bounce off of this fractal level. I try to hold these trades until we close back above Tinkinson, but that is very hard. And I'm not getting a trade here. Okay, but now watch. Look where we are in this candle. The market will play games with you inside these candles, and this is not important right here. It gets more important to me once we get down to 500 and see where we are then. And then once we're at that 100 remaining ticks, if it's still strong like that, then I know it's true. Could have taken a short off of this if it's a bearish engulfing like that, but it's too deep. It's just not my style of trading. Has to really be at a level for me to do something like that, and the level would either be this fractal level or breaking this Tinkinson. So for me, that wouldn't have been. This isn't a good trade for me. Even though it's running, we probably are done here. Yep, we missed out. Didn't really push back to the fractal level. And if we were able to stay in this trade, we'd have been good. So we'll wait to see if we get anything else. And I'm not really upset about this because this really wasn't, it didn't bounce on the fractal, and it's not one of my trade setups, so I'm not really upset about that. So I'm not really worried about missing that. Let's see where we're pushing down to. Let's see where this is pushing down to. So the ultimate level is here, but there's some things here. So let's see if we can mark some stuff, because you got fractal levels here where you had resistance, and then you came back and had support. Kind of missed here, but that's still a good level. All right, so now you probably see the market push down to this area here, probably about the 131.60 level to whatever we are here, whatever this level is, in this area right here. So I don't think I'm going to get another shot. Dang, this would have been a good opportunity too, had we pushed up a little higher, given us our level, because we still were expecting the market to come up. And also, like I told you, I'm not confirming anything until the close of the candle, and we didn't get that at that point. So once we got the close of the candle, it was like we were down here. So two things, like a couple things. One thing is, at the close of the candle, if it's too big and it's going to hurt your, like if you can't fit that into your risk management with one contract, then you can't take that trade. All right, if you can't fit it with one contract, it's too big of a stop loss for you. And when I say fit it, I mean like make that into your 2% loss profit, 2% of your loss, capital loss on your trade. So another thing, like I keep telling you guys, everybody trading these with these funded traders and so forth, people think they have, if they tell you you got $100,000, you got a $25,000 account. People think that that capital is the $25,000 account. Forget that $25,000 account. Your capital is actually your stop loss. Your what is your threshold basically. So if you have like a 1,500 threshold, that is your capital, and that's what you base your losses on. Don't base your losses on no 25,000, because you don't have 25,000. You have 3,000 or 2,000, 5,000, whatever it is. You have 1,500, 3,000. Some of these are 6,000 or so forth, whatever it is that your threshold is, that is your capital. That's considered your capital. And that's what you want to talk about when you think about, oh, this is how much I can lose. If you're thinking you got a $100,000 account, funded trader account, and you think you can take your 6% off of the 100,000, you're out of the game quickly. All right, that's one trade basically. Almost, you're going to be out of the game. That's not correct. So always think, when you think about that profit or that trade, you're thinking about the threshold. So the market's flattening out a little bit, failing to get through this level. And we're sitting here at, what's that, about 131.8. 131.8. Trying to get through there. We already had a little bit of an indecision candle here. This is where it's important. See? Now watch, let's see what happens here. Always watch these candles to the end, because they're going to play you to get you involved. we're not getting another shot. We had 2 opportunities. We took 1 opportunity. So we got to wait. Looks like we're on the waiting game now.